Hi everyone, Zoe Hopper here, and I wanted to record a special video this evening about meal preparation. For 2016, I really decided to try to take my nutrition to another level, and so meal prep is something that I understand helps with that. I think people meal prep for many different reasons. Some feel that it's cost effective, some feel that it's the only way for them to eat healthy throughout the week. Some people have dietary restrictions, so it's easier for them to meal prep in order to meet those goals throughout the week. And so I didn't know much about meal prep, so what I decided to do is reach out to a good friend of mine, Mrs. Kelly Holloway, and talk to her about her process for meal prep because she's awesome at it. She posts videos and photos to her social media, so I wanted to reach out to do that. Hi, Kelly.
Hello.
So Kelly and I and her husband Mike, we all go back to UNC Chapel Hill where we attended undergrad together. And so Kelly, I just wanted to ask you to start off this video about your journey. How did you get started doing meal prep? What interested you about it? What kept you on the right track?
Sure. So I've been doing meal prep for about 2 years now, and I kind of came upon it when we got ready to get married, May 24th, so it's been almost 2 years now, and I kind of had this thought process of I'm getting ready to be a new wife, need to learn how to cook, I needed to learn how to make sure that not only my nutrition was taken care of, but my husband's too, and being pretty busy with our work schedules, the regular 9 to 5, and then I also teach Zumba fitness classes, so that's an additional job for me too. I just found myself on a weekly basis really busy, so needing to figure out a way to offer good food and do it in a way that is not going to take a lot of time during the week. So that kind of led me down the meal prep path.
So Kelly, you mentioned finding recipes and doing different meals to keep it interesting. Where do you get your ideas from to do meal prep?
I love Pinterest, so I look up recipes on Pinterest a lot. I'll ask other relatives, seasoned members of my family that have been cooking for years and years, kind of mixing it up and making, doing different versions of their recipes to make it a little bit more healthier, but kind of talking to my mom about, well, what's the best way to cook greens, or what's the best way to do green beans, different ways. So it's a lot of trial and error, and some weeks I'll try something and Mike's like, let's take that out of rotation, or sometimes we'll say, well, we really like this, so we're probably going to do this another week.
So a second misconception about meal prep is that it just takes a lot of time to do it, and a lot of people say, well, I just don't have the time to cook that much in one day and things like that. How do you respond to that?
Well, it definitely does take a good chunk of your time, but to me, the advantage of not having to cook anything during the week, it kind of offsets that for me. So I would say anyone that's considering it, don't automatically think, oh, I don't have enough time to do it. It's all about finding that day where you do have a good amount of time that you can carve out. For me, that's on Sunday. And from beginning to end, that's putting everything together and then cleaning up takes me about 3 hours. But then I'm not doing anything during the week where food is concerned, and then I don't cook on Fridays and Saturdays. So for me, it's really, if you think about when you don't meal prep, you're in the kitchen for about an hour each night. That's 5 hours. You could decrease that and kind of take out the kitchen completely.
Definitely. So it sounds like you meal prep for lunch and dinner.
Yes.
But
sometimes breakfast.
Sometimes breakfast. Mm-hmm. So like you mentioned, it may be you're only prepping for breakfast or only lunch, or only dinner. Start somewhere, right? Would you recommend for people to start with all three, or just start with one, or how did you?
I would say start with what is conducive to your lifestyle. Like if you need to prep meals for lunch and dinner, go ahead and try lunch and dinner first, and you could be wildly successful at it and be able to do it for a good long time.
So what happens on weeks where you and Mike may be traveling, or you have a change of plans and you're just not able to dedicate that time on Sunday to meal prep? And how do you respond to that?
Right. So by nature, I'm a planner. So I'm a little type A when it comes to planning out our schedules and figuring out, if we're going to be traveling for a weekend or for, a set amount of time. If we don't have time to cook on Sunday, I'll do one or two things. I'll kind of rearrange things so that I can prep on Saturday, and then everything's ready to go by that Monday, or we won't prep for a week, because what's the worst that can happen? You don't prep, you take a week off, it's okay to do that. Just because you start doing meal prep doesn't mean that you have to do it consistently week after week. You do what works for you. And I've always told Mike, we're going to try the meal prep thing for as long as we can, but the moment where it becomes too taxing or stressful or we're not able to do it, then we'll put it to bed.
Okay, Kelly, so talk to me a little bit about the mindset it takes to meal prep in your process in general.
Okay, so my meal prep day is Sunday, but everything doesn't just come together on Sunday. It's kind of a process all throughout the week. So, throughout the week, I'm kind of thinking of different things that we want to try or things that I want to put together. I'm thinking about meal 1, what that's going to look like, meal 2, meal 3, meal 4. Kind of working through, this is what my grocery store list is going to look like. And I'm thinking through all these things throughout the week so that come Friday, come Saturday, I've made a joint list, and Mike and I, if he has a chance to run to the store, he'll do that on Friday, knock it out, we've got everything here ready to go, or maybe we'll go together and we're working off the same list. So that kind of helps with the process. So then Sunday, I'll sit down and I'll write out, okay, this is what I want to start with, whatever's going to take the longest, something that I'm throwing in the crock pot, or something that needs to simmer for a little bit longer or prep for longer. I'm going ahead and doing that. That's my kind of trajectory. And then things like fish that take little to no time, those are things that I save for last. And while I'm in the kitchen, I have my music going or a television or mics in there. So we're kind of helping each other through it. And then the last piece is setting out the 16 containers, and we're just doing that. That helps with portion control. Right. We're putting in the portions, and we're going ahead and putting everything together, packaging it, or putting the seals on there, and then we put them in the fridge, and then clean up the kitchen.
So Mike helps you to meal prep?
Yes, he does.
Shout out to my cameraman Mike. Let's get him on the camera. Come on over here, Mike. Let me get behind the camera. Because I didn't know you were as involved as you are. So
Absolutely.
It'd be good to hear from you as well.
Yes.
So Kelly had the idea of getting the meal prep done so that it would save us A, time, and B, money. And that's on both of our accounts. So, I think when it comes to meal prep, having to pretty much take the thinking out of what you're going to eat for the week is really just a big stress reliever. You don't have to, you wake up in the morning, and because we have the meals already packed in the Ziploc containers or what have you, it's not, what am I going to eat today? It's, okay, which container am I grabbing?
So the final question I have for you both, and you can both tackle this, what are 3 good tips for a beginner on ways to begin meal prepping and then to also maintain the process?
So have your grocery list ready. Get your recipes ready from your websites that you need to go to. Like Kelly was speaking to earlier, if you do Pinterest or you're on Facebook, go ahead and grab those recipes. See the ingredients that the recipes call for. Because if you've already got that down, you know what you're going to do for the week, and that makes things a lot easier once you have that list in the grocery store. Cuts your time really in half when you go to the grocery store as well.
I would say another tip for beginners would be to keep it simple. If you're thinking about getting into meal prepping and trying it out, you don't have to come up with these masterful, meals and recipes. When I first started, I would only do, I came up with a list and sat down of what are things that Kelly are, what am I good at cooking? Like, so chicken, steak, basic things. And then after I kind of got my feel for it, I got into more things. Okay, so how do I mix it up? How do I change it? So you don't have to take on something, so huge. Keep it simple. Things that you already enjoy cooking, things that you know that you can cook quickly, and using your tools and your resources in order to do that. So if you have things that you can put in a crock pot to be simmering for a few hours while you're doing your other things, you have the things that you put in the stove as well as things you put on top of the stove. So being strategic about it, and making sure that you keep it simple is what's going to yield the most success.
Every meal prep meal doesn't have to be your grandmother's Thanksgiving dinner.
Right.
You're very satisfied once you have that. Your 1 meat, your 2 vegetables, drink a lot of water with it. You're really satisfied with that when it's all said and done.
Yeah. I would say the 3rd tip to think about would be to.
Wasn't that 3?
No.
Oh, no. Go on.
would be to help each other.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fun. We'll put on music and kind of dance around and joke around. It's a lot of time that we get to connect and talk about the upcoming week. What do you got going on this week? What are we doing on Friday this week? Are we going out? Different things. So it kind of helps to make it fun. Don't look at it as a chore. Look at it as something that's going to increase your livelihood and
productivity during the week.
Right.
Because you're saving all that time and decision making for later on during the week.
Right. Another thing that I wanted to add, Lorenzo touched on earlier about some of the misconceptions that kind of surround meal prep. Some people kind of think that it's about limitations and it's a diet. It really is not. It's just about being intentional about your meals for a set amount of time and making sure that you don't overspend and you don't overeat. Because we know about all the love and care and time that we put in our meals on a Sunday, that's going to keep us from, snacking and doing a whole bunch of other eating. We're going to think twice about doing that because we've put all of the money already and energy into these meals, and we know that they're flavorful, they're healthy, and it kind of helps us keep track of our goals. So definitely don't look at the meal prep process as a limitation, because it's not. It actually can open up to a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, it's a small change that will make a big difference.
So that's all the questions I had. I want to thank you again and my video man Mike for allowing me to come into your home for one and to learn a little bit. I learned a lot today about meal prep, and I hope you did too. As always, if you liked the video, be sure to leave us a comment below with any more questions. Who knows, we're homies, so I'll come back and we'll do a part 2 to answer some more questions and things like that. So
Yes.
that's a wrap. Thank you both
Thanks.
again.
Good luck.
Mike,
What's
I
up?
got a question for you before I leave. When she's cooking so much food for the week, is the food good? Is it good?
Is she going? Yeah, the food is good. The food is really good.